the town of Tewkesbury and its glorious abbey. That's your very historic heritage postcard today from Gloucestershire. Now, Julie, I know you're a little bit nervous because you've never done telly before, have you?
No.
This is your very first experience.
That's correct.
And you're here to tell us about the story of Tewkesbury. So we'll take it nice and easy by asking you the name. It's an unusual name, Tewkesbury. Where's it come from?
Well, Russell, it's believed to have come from the name Theoc, and Theoc was reputed to be a hermit who lived along the river, and that became Tewkesbury and then Tewkesbury.
All right. And of course, a bury normally meant a fortified place
That's
as well.
right, that's right.
So he was an old hermit, probably with a little fortified bit
That's
around
exactly
him.
so.
You have a very important meeting point here of two rivers, don't you?
We do. This is where the River Avon runs down from Stratford and joins the River Severn running down from Wales, and then the two go down to the Bristol Channel. So this is at the very confluence of the Avon and the Severn. Hence that makes Tewkesbury a very important crossing point in medieval times.
So that was really why it was in such a strategic position.
It was a very important town at the time, and that led to obviously also things like it becoming an important market town. And in fact in Gloucestershire the three big towns at those times were Tewkesbury, Gloucester and Cirencester. They were the three big markets.
When you come to Tewkesbury though, the overriding factor has to be the abbey, doesn't it?
Oh, indeed so. I mean, the abbey is by far the biggest part of Tewkesbury, and of course, although the water is very important to Tewkesbury, one of the other reasons why Tewkesbury is such a popular town and has always been a town since very early medieval times, and we're talking 12th century really, was the abbey, which was a monastery. And of course, many of the buildings around the abbey, although it wouldn't be so obvious today, were actually there because of the abbey, either for feeding the monks or for the water wheel or any such thing like that. And in fact, it's said that in early times the abbey was actually very rich. Tewkesbury was a very rich place, and that the monks lived very well, and that in fact they were told off by the Bishop of Worcester for being gluttonous and debauched. So there you go.
I'd have done well there then.
Yes.
And all that lovely Tewkesbury mustard.
Oh, indeed. So the Tewkesbury mustard, yes, we've got the Tewkesbury mustard, which of course sadly is no longer made here, but can still be purchased, and that's a spicy mustard in itself, a bit like I suspect the monks were.
As we look down the town, I'm struck by the fact that Tewkesbury seems to go on and on and on. There's one big main street with the most glorious half-timbered buildings down one side, and then it seems to go off into two different directions. It forks. The town's
right.
shaped like a Y, isn't it?
It is indeed. It's very much shaped like a Y, and that's really because of the rivers and the floodplains. Not only have we got the Avon and the Severn, but on the other side of Tewkesbury we've got something called the Swillgate, which again flows into the Severn. But those three rivers really have constrained development. So in fact the medieval core of Tewkesbury hasn't actually changed very much.
For whom doth the bell toll? Probably for John Hart, because here's a wee postcard moment for you. Just walking around Tewkesbury Abbey here in the graveyard, we've come across his headstone, and it's John Hart, the sixth descendant from the poet Shakespeare, and he died at the age of 45. And here in Tewkesbury, there's quite a few descendants of Shakespeare, if the name Hart corresponds, because there were boat makers and chair makers here in this ancient borough in Gloucestershire, and he was in fact a chair maker. Now, William Shakespeare died childless, probably because he was writing too many plays and sonnets, didn't have time, but his sister did, and it's actually the descendancy, the lineage comes from Shakespeare's sister, and that's where we get Mr. John Hart, now deceased, here in the grounds of Tewkesbury Abbey.